gentlemen, friends, distinguished guests, welcome to the inaugural International Istanbul Initiative on Ageing. I'm Greg Shaw, the Director of International and Corporate Relations with the International Federation on Ageing, and I too welcome you. For those of you who have headsets, English will be on Channel 1 and Turkish will be on Channel 2. On behalf of Turyak Seniors Council and the International Federation on Ageing, I'm especially delighted to recognise Mrs. Fatma Sahin, the Minister for Family and Social Policy in Turkey. Minister, welcome. President Dr. Mohammed Yusuf El-Magharif from Libya, welcome and thank you. Mr. Petra Luczynski, President of Moldova, welcome. Professor Ekmeletin İzinoğlu, the Secretary General for the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, welcome to you, sir. Dr. Makabi, the Minister for Population Promotion of Women and Children's Protection from Niger, welcome. To the Minister and delegation from Oman and also the delegation from Qatar, I also welcome you and thank you. To the board members of Turyak Seniors Council and the board members of IFA, I welcome to you and thank you for being with us today. We are honoured to have each of you, as well as delegates from some 59 countries, with us today and yesterday, celebrating this inaugural event. I will be introducing three speakers who will do some welcoming remarks and opening remarks, and it is my pleasure to introduce to the podium the first speaker, who is the President of the International Federation on Ageing, Dr. K.R. Gangadharan. Dr. Gangadharan.
Good morning. Welcome. On behalf of International Federation on Ageing and Turyak Senior Council Association, I'm honored and proud to be standing here in front of you today. Today marks a point in history, a landmark of change, where leaders like you gather here at the inaugural International Istanbul Initiative on Ageing. Distinguished guests, eminent persons, friends and colleagues, Istanbul, perhaps as old as 8,000 years, is a city of contrasts, where Europe meets Asia, East and West, and world meets new. Now it is home to the inauguration of the International Initiative on Ageing. Population aging, the most predictable of global challenge, is expected to have an enduring and profound impact on the outlook of the governments, budgets, the sustainability of the global economy, and most importantly of all, the quality of life of older adults. In the last decade, radical new paradigms about global issues such as globalization, urbanization, the market economy, the labor force, migration, and consequences of demographic changes have emerged. Global aging promises to affect anything from business strategy and labor productivity to retirement savings, care models, and major shifts of global capital inflows. The profound importance of business and innovation must be recognized, as they will play a tremendous role in building a sustainable and thriving nation. In the Middle East, North America, and Eastern Europe, where family is very much a central tenet of community and national values, the potential positive as well as negative consequences of demographic changes have yet to be fully realized. Now is the right time for a transformative conversation on the way we conduct business in the field of aging, to discard the stereotypes, to positively discriminate, and to reinvent notions of aging together. The International Federation on Aging is one of only a handful of organizations internationally that focuses on the older people as a group of human beings that have the right to live with choice, dignity, affection, respect, as a membership organization of governments, non-governmental organizations, industry, academic, and individuals, we aim to be a global point of connection of experts and expertise nationally, regionally, and internationally. The IFA is honored to have partnered with Turyak Seniors Council Association to convene the inaugural International Istanbul Initiative Aging. We acknowledge the inspirational leadership of the founder, Mr. Meti Bora, and the board of directors of Turyak, who have helped us shine a light not only on emerging population trends in the region, but also on the rich and diverse nature of generations and families which fortify the social milieu of many communities. The seduction of sights, sounds, and smells of Istanbul and Turkey will only be complemented by the conference's thoughtful contributions, international experts in the field of aging, and rich dialogue from Congress sessions. There is perhaps no greater challenge before us than working in partnerships to respond in the most expeditious and selfish ways to ensure knowledge is created, shared, and mobilized towards the goal of improving the quality of lives of older people, both regionally and globally. I wish to particularly acknowledge the contribution of Mr. Meti Bora, one of our board members, who have made this happen today. Thank you very much once again. Have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Gangadharan. I'd now like to invite Dr. Ilhan Dulga from Turyak Seniors Council to the podium for opening remarks.
Ekselansları, Sayın Bakanım,
His and Her Excellencies, distinguished ministers, distinguished participants, I would like to welcome you to the International Istanbul Initiative on Aging Congress. A great majority of the Congress participants are coming from abroad. That's why I would like to kindly ask your permission to switch to English.
Honorable Minister, members of the Parliament, distinguished delegates from all countries, distinguished senior citizens of the world, dear guests, ladies and gentlemen from all ages. We welcome you all to the International Istanbul Initiative on Aging, which is being held now on the first week of October in Istanbul, in a week when the World Elderly Day is also being celebrated. We are honored by your presence in Turkey, and we are pleased to host this Congress on a vital issue of our time, namely the measure necessary at the face of the forging of longevity and aging. This International Congress on Intergenerational Solidarity is a joint initiative of IFA, International Federation of Aging, and TURYAK, Turkey Seniors Citizens Council, covering mainly the Middle East, Africa, Eastern Europe, and Middle Asian regions, along with all the countries who work on promoting active aging and welfare for the elderly. There are numerous initiatives in the area of aging all around the world. We appreciate them all. At the moment, Turyak is celebrating its 10th anniversary among you. Thank you for being here. Turyak is a leading NGO and non-profit association of senior citizens of Turkey based in Ankara, the capital of Turkey. We act both on national and international levels, regardless of nationality, faith, race, or gender. We are committed to visionary policymaking with an awareness of the fast aging of world population. And we strongly advocate the idea that societies and the world should seek ways to benefit from the wisdom, knowledge, and vast experience of their senior citizens with love and respect. Towards this purpose, this is the third International Congress we are holding in Istanbul. The theme of the 2009 International Congress of the Senior Citizens of the World in Istanbul was Bridging the Gap Between Cultures. The theme of the 2010 International Congress of the Senior Citizens of the World in Istanbul was Wholesome Solution to the World Crises and Living Together with Wisdom on Our Planet. And today, the theme of the 2013 International Istanbul Initiative on Aging is Intergenerational Solidarity. Contributing to the theme of our Congress today, Turkey has something to share with you with great joy. Turkey has already taken a step forward in 2010 by amending the Constitution of the Republic of Turkey and introduced positive discrimination towards senior citizens. Work is continuing to see it reflected in all aspects of life. As Turyak, we are currently working on several projects, the three of which I would like to mention here very briefly. Firstly, International Istanbul Center of Excellence on Aging, ISEA, is a project we are working on together with IFA. In the aging field, healthcare, labor, pension systems, habitat, ergonomics, transport, social, economic, and cultural, and environmental policies need to be integrated. The International Istanbul Center of Excellence will focus on establishing mobility of knowledge and experience on aging throughout societies. This is a pioneer project to set up a wide platform where different disciplines, policy lines, models, and innovations from the region and all over the world can converge and be disseminated. The Center of Excellence will work also in collaboration with the United Nations and its agencies, the World Health Organization, governments, the non-governmental organizations, age-friendly cities, leading universities, industries producing and serving the elders. I'm happy to inform you that the Greater Metropolitan Government of Istanbul is also prepared to allocate a best appropriate place for this center. Secondly, the Incorporated Bank of Experiences project is an information bank on the expert senior citizens who would like to participate from all over the world with the purpose of helping the businesses and projects which need experienced mentorship and expert support. Thirdly, Intergenerational Solidarity Curriculum project with the Ministry of Education. For the middle-aged population of today's world, a life expectancy at birth of 100 years, and for the newborn babies today, a life expectancy of 120 years is technologically possible. Longer lives mean higher value and new benefits in our societies. However, to lead a good life is possible only if a new understanding of healthy aging is developed from its grassroots. If the practice of active aging and productive aging is promoted by lifelong learning. If healthy living styles are adopted by families and individuals, and if closer intergenerational relationships are built. Ministry of Education, together with Turyak, is integrating this vision into the school curricula, starting from kindergarten up. Finally, I wish the Congress fruitful days of work and success. Kongreye verimli.
I would like to wish a very fruitful Congress, and I wish you all the best.
I always enjoy listening to Dr. Dulgar. She's such an inspirational speaker. Thank you. It is now my pleasure to welcome Professor Ekmilatan Iznoglu, the Secretary General of the Islamic Cooperation, to the podium. So welcome and thank you.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Sayın Bakan, değerli misafirler.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. On the name of God, compassionate and merciful, with your kind permission, I would like to also deliver my remarks in English so that our international guests can follow.
These distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, let me first and foremost thank the organizers of this Congress for inviting me to address the panel discussing the very topical issue of intergenerational solidarity. For us in the OIC, the question of forging solidarity among 1 billion peoples living in our 57 member states is at the core of the mandate of our organization. However, a new approach to the concept of solidarity has since emerged upon adoption of the 10-year program of action, which was adopted at the third extraordinary summit of OIC in 2005. Solidarity is given in all-embracing connotation to describe the existing cultural affinities among the people of the OIC and the need to translate this cultural solidarity into a more pragmatic interaction at the socio-economic and political levels. Consequently, the slogan of solidarity in action has become a common phrase within the OIC. This is in view of the need to mobilize and direct the enormous developmental potentials of the OIC member states towards ensuring the development of active socio-economic relations among the OIC member states and the promotion of the well-being of its populations with special focus on the many vulnerable segments, including the elderly, youth and children as groups with specific problems. A number of specific issues have to be addressed with respect to these groups. In addition to the need to increase their economic well-being, an important concern is to protect their status in society. The elderly should not be subject to neglect or negative discrimination because they are no more economically active. Furthermore, ideally, the strengths of this sincere concern of ours for the elderly must lead us to consider developing social policies specially geared to promoting employment for the elderly in our communities. Such policies can enable us to benefit from the knowledge and experience of the elderly having worked in different sectors, and thus also avoid duplications wherever applicable. Indeed, a constant effort must be made to develop these inclusive social policies. The OIC member states have generally achieved steady progress in improving their social security systems over the past decades, taking into account internationally set norms. Health care after retirement is covered in most national systems. However, issues needing to be dealt with as the elderly reach far beyond this. Issues concerning this group must be dealt with within the framework of a separate composite and intersocietal policy. The tradition of permanent family ties and emphasis given to intergenerational solidarity characteristic to Muslim society can be of support in concretizing this policy. Efforts must be made to preserve these values so that they may remain effective among coming generations as well. The values of family attachment and respect for the elderly are shared by all faces of the world. They show humankind the right behavior towards parents and the elderly. I would like here to quote from the Holy Quran, and I quote, "And your Lord has commanded that you shall not worship any but Him, and that you be kind to your parents. If either or both of them reach old age with you, say not to them so much as uff, nor repel them, and speak to them in a generous word, and make yourself submissively gentle to them with compassion, and say, O my Lord, have mercy on them, as they did cherish and rear me when I was a little." End of quote. Madam Minister, Excellencies, distinguished participants, various international and regional organizations are addressing issues relating to the elderly in the context of their programs aiming to contribute to raising the well-being of populations in their member countries. As to the OIC development of the well-being of our populations on all scores being the raison d'etre of this intergovernmental organization, a paradigm shift has been established to ensure these issues of poverty alleviation, human capital development, and social protection remain prominent in the realm of the OIC contemporary agenda. Here I intend to rapidly capture the various flagship programs embarked upon by the OIC in recent times, which dwell on poverty eradication, including food and nourishing security, as well as the creation of social safety nets in the domain of health, education, youth and women empowerment, entrepreneurship, employment generation, and social protection, among others. The objectives of these programs are to resolve the current spate of poverty, hunger, and social dislocation arising from multiplicity of political and man-made crises with the OIC. In the socio-economic outlook of the OIC, as we consider the fact that more than 1/3 of OIC member states belong to the least developed countries, LDCs, the average human poverty index in OIC countries, which is slightly increased from 25% in 2005 to 27% in 2007, has now reached an alarming rate of 38% in 2011. This is occurring at the same time when the food security situation in these countries has deteriorated sharply due to reduced agricultural productivity, weak rural infrastructure, dwindling foreign direct investment, and pervasive social exclusion. Consequently, the average food deficit in the entire OIC countries reached $40 billion in recent times, while the number of food deficit countries within the OIC is as large as 33. Similarly, the number of children under 5 years with stunt growth has also soared for above the 2005 figures of 6 million persons. Consequently, the increasing rate of unemployment due to declining economic growth and inadequate social safety nets has been traced as the causes of the current social and political crisis in our region, especially the Middle East and North African region. It has also created such social insecurity and communal dislocation as evident the increasing flow of refugees, which affect mainly women and children. Given the above stated conditions, the major thrust of the OIC poverty alleviation programs became the development of human productive capacity through expansion of intra-OIC trade, scaling up vocational training, and agro-food industrial capacity building. This approach also aims at creating wealth and increasing productivity and value addition in OIC countries, promoting knowledge economy and the polio eradication programs so as to generate the required employment and income among poor and vulnerable segments of the OIC population, especially women and the youth. Considering the identified constraints of resource mobilization in the implementation of various OIC economic programs and projects, the 10-year program of action recommended the establishment of poverty alleviation funds. Consequently, the Islamic Solidarity Fund for Development and Special Program for Development of Africa has since galvanized the inter-OIC action in the area of microfinance, agro-industrial capacity building, and rural development. The Islamic Solidarity Fund for Development, ISFD, is a $10 billion financing window for targeted interventions to foster sustainable economic growth and job creation, reduce illiteracy, and eradicate contagious diseases and pandemics such as malaria, tuberculosis, and HIV/AIDS. It is gladdening to note that the ISFD has, since its inception in 2008, extending financing amounting to $1.64 billion for 43 projects in different sectors at 28 OIC member states. On its part, Special Program for Development of Africa, SPDA, is a $12 billion facility aimed at advancing for pro-poor activities. These sectoral priorities under the SPDA are specifically geared towards attaining the Millennium Development Goals, MDGs, and promoting economic growth and regional integration. These programs focus on agriculture for food security, on water and sanitation, on power generation and distribution, on transport infrastructure, on education, and eliminating major communicable diseases. So far, a total of 480 projects have been approved for financing under the Special Program for Development in Africa in 20 OIC African countries. The major projects approved under this phase features, among others, are touching on these 6 sectors. While the investment and food security strategies are aimed at fostering youth and women empowerment, the provision of effective social safety nets are aimed at promoting access to health and sanitation, job creation, entrepreneurship, and social protection. This comes in answer to the alarming reality that a number of Muslim countries' generalization of health care for all segments of population, fighting epidemics and advancing medical science and technology remain as objectives yet to be attended to. Health tourism, including displacement of patients and the elderly, is one of the consequences of local insufficiency in this score. The OIC framework on tourism has given due prominence to mobilizing the various national policies in favor of health tourism. The 3 conferences on health tourism in OIC member states, which were hosted in Iran, has mobilized necessary joint actions towards expanding health services in the OIC countries. The said action includes support for the constructions of hospitals, funding of health research projects, and facilitation of entry visa procedures among OIC member states. This in addition to the various interventions on health, including maternal and child care made by relevant OIC institutions. On the issue of entrepreneurship and employment generation, the recent adoption of OIC framework for cooperation on labor, employment, and social protection is the culmination of ongoing intra-OIC efforts to address growing youth unemployment, which has reached 83 million globally in 2011 and expected to increase by 12% in 2012 and by another 13% in 2017. The result of this is steady contraction of the middle class, particularly in developing countries, thereby leading to increasing social dislocation. The hallmark of OIC's démarches in this regard is to energize the existing network among occupational safety and health institutions in OIC countries. It also includes developing integrated programs to support growth of SMEs and Islamic microfinance institutions with a view to improving self-employment and youth micro-entrepreneurs. This is in addition to the various programs in the field of career counseling aimed at providing technical support and assistance to the youth. Furthermore, the OIC strategy on housing and sanitation is embedded in the Action Plan for Islamic Solidarity Fund for Development, which is developing a Sustainable Villages program with an initial funding window of $120 million. This is in addition to the strong partnership in this domain between OIC and Earth Institute of Columbia University, on the one hand and Abdul Latif Jameel Poverty Action Laboratory on the other hand. Finally, I wish to reiterate my appreciation to the organizers of this event, IFA-TURYAK Istanbul International Initiative on Aging Congress, while expressing the readiness of OIC to continue to identify with their laudable initiatives towards ensuring that we bequeath to the coming generations a society that is socially cohesive, politically stable, and economically prosperous. I thank you for your kind attention.
I do hope that we can aspire to those final words of Professor Isnoglu, so thank you. My final guest, but not the final speaker for the day, due to competing commitments, will have to leave us after her presentation, and that is Mrs. Fatma Sahin, the Minister for Family and Social Policies. Please welcome the Minister to the podium. Thank you.
The valuable Secretary General of OIC, valuable presidents, ministers, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished members of the press, and all the representatives, I would like to greet each one of you with respect on my behalf, on behalf of my government and my country. First of all, I would like to say that Napoleon said that if the whole world had been a single country, Istanbul would be the capital of it. So we are convening in the city of tolerance, multicultural, multi-ethnic group city that is hosting you is of great importance, and we're very happy to have you here under this very important heading. And I would like to thank IFA and Turyak representatives who have organized this event. What is aging? And what we need to do about aging is kind of overlapping with the concepts of what is a social welfare state and social justice, social prosperity. And these are all intermingled with each other because the development level of the countries and the social welfare and social prosperity of one country would relate all the groups, all the disadvantaged groups in that country, all the groups who do have challenges to have access to the service, and how do they have access to various services are closely linked to each other. For that reason, more than 10 years ago, when we've started our journey in the political scene, our motto had been first comes the individual. When we honor the individual, then we would be honoring the state. As of today, with the young and the old, with the disabled and healthy, and with women and men, any individual who is born as a human being has a right for shelter, has a right for health, has a right for education, has a right for a job, a decent job. And we consider all of these things as a must. And no matter what age they are in, we need to be next to them and supporting them. And this is a great, we attach great importance to this issue. And for that reason, political stability, economic stability, safety, and solidarity is very important, and having confidence in the system is of great importance. And we had a major transformation to achieve all of these things. Transformation in health and transformation in social security that mainly relates our elderly population, in the end results in a Turkish population that has a longer expectancy of life. But it is a fact that the world is aging and the populations are aging, and we need to find more We need to find more comprehensive solutions in an accelerated manner to the problems of an aging society. And for that reason, we got restructuralized ourselves as the Ministry of Family and Social Policies. When 2 years ago, we restructured ourselves. We established a DG responsible for our senior citizens, and we financially supported it and also institutionally supported it. And whenever we asked the question to our elderly people how you would be more happy, they said that I would be more happy when I stay with my spouse, with my family, in my house. For that reason, while we are determining our policies, we always ask for them what would be good for them. And based on their perspective or world, we try to generate policies. The same thing applies for the young generations as well. And as a result of all of the work and the studies that we've carried out, we produce policies and the strategies. Actually, this is our civilization, this is our culture, this is our belief. The distinguished Secretary General of OIC had indicated we are coming from such a belief, such a faith that while your parents are aging next to you, you should not be saying even a puff, and you would not be reacting to their being elderly, because their gray hair and the lines on their faces are the experience that they bear with themselves. And this experience that they bear would be best carried to the next generation through us. For that reason, we attach great importance to the project that is named as Together with Your Family. So we are providing more than 400,000 individuals, more than 140,000 of which are needing permanent care. And we want to keep them in their homes with their families by providing financial service. And in the special care, with the special care individuals, we do not want to have a ward system in crowded rooms, but more individual care. So when we have observed the results of the new policies, caring with your family within their house, the life quality is also increasing. And what we see is that on one hand, while we are providing financial support, on the other hand, the experience that you are bringing forward from your own countries would be resulting in a more active and a happy environment for our elderly. How we can make our cities restructured for our elderly population. Elderly assemblies, and also our understanding of urbanization, how we can reflect this with the power that we receive from our culture, from our cities, because we do see that urbanization, migration, and industrialization are creating negative impacts, mostly over our elderly population. For that reason, we need to be increasing our models and improving the number of and the quality of the alternatives, especially day elderly care systems. We are trying to increase them, and also the care institutions and the care services, rather than ward system, house unit system that would be able to have case-by-case individually follow-up system would be established. So we will be focusing on the needs of the individual. With the latest studies that we've carried out, we do see that around 11,000 elderly's care are being taken care of by our state. And we are working in cooperation with foundations and the NGOs, because foundations do exist in our history, in our civilization. In 21 1,000 elderly houses, we are now providing support. But the important thing is that we're providing support to 140,000 elderly in their own houses. And with a very recent decision that we had taken, we do not want to see any elderly who is still expecting to receive service from us. And for that reason, for 2014, we will be initiating a new program to outsource services from private elderly care units. We will have the standards that we would expect from the private elderly care institutions, and we'll have a monitoring and a follow-up system. And no elderly citizen of us would not be able to get any service from us. Whatever they ask from us, whatever they need and demand from us, whatever type of solution they would like to have in their lives, we would like to provide it to them. Actually, in a modern and contemporary world, even before you get old, before you start aging, some preventive measures and some preventive systems should be put into place. And you should be able to plan your times ahead while you're still young. And this is a very important issue for us as a ministry, and we are working on it. And whatever results and outcomes we will receive as a result of this work, we will try to put it into implementation, because whatever we do at the young ages, we may be able to prevent certain diseases or certain conditions that will erode our life quality in the years to come, in the senior ages. With certain measures that we take while we are still young, we can be culturally and socially more active and more involved in the community life. For that reason, the preventive measures are of great importance, and we need to be working on them in a very careful manner. And at the same time, we're working together with the Ministry of Health in order to provide a specialized service of home care and elderly care. Based on our experience, when there are some elderly groups that become very unhappy when they stay together, and mentally retarded, or elderly inbound in bed, and or the Alzheimer groups. Whenever you try to provide care to each one of them all together, we do see that while you're trying to provide service to one of these groups, the other group may be negatively affected. For that reason, for each group, different physical infrastructure should be provided, and different rehabilitation systems and programs should be in place. And for each group, different alternative models should be produced, and a new elderly policy will be put into life. And the support policies would be of great importance. We need to be able to support them based on their individual needs, and we need to provide those differentiated services to them. Now, the number of the elderly social services and social units would increase. Whenever you go to an urban area, to a city, just like we do have kindergarten or childcare systems, we will be able to provide activity centers, or those life centers, as we call them, daily activity centers for our elderly people. And the elderly people who attend to those centers, life centers, you see the sparkle in their eyes. They are very much involved in life, and they're so happy to be there and to live actively and to be in close communication with the society. Life is so short. When we are very young, we think that we'll never get old, but time flies. 40 years of age, 50 years of age, it looks so much ahead in the future, but when we are involved, we see that time flies. So we need to make best use of it, and we need to use it in a healthy manner, and within the framework of all the time spans to be exhibited or to be experienced. We need to manage all those time brackets in the most proper way, in the best way, so that we will have quality life. We will all be born and die. And it all depends what would be the quality in between. For that reason, I would like to thank you for all the contributions that you will provide for this topic, for being here in this beautiful city of Istanbul. I would like to thank you for all your efforts on behalf of myself, my ministry, and my country. You can be sure that whatever you decide for, I will be following them up on individual basis, item by item. It will be a guideline for our work, because the experience that we will get from our elderly will be of great importance for us. Our cultural values, our quality of life, our understanding, our deep-rooted society, they all originate from the elderly. We need to establish and strengthen the bridge to transform all of these experiences of the past to the future generations. And everybody within their own family structure, within their own assets, they need to be reinforced and strengthened, and the pain should be alleviated, and the fears should be eliminated, loneliness should be avoided. And it is easy to do this only if we can empathize each other and understand each other. And everyone should, in a very fast manner, realize and internalize that that day is coming for each one of us. And we need to do something for that. For that reason, distinguished participants, being a human being necessitates strengthening the values of being a human. And our responsibility as politicians is to do what is required to do as the authorities of a welfare state. We need to constitute a model. Under the leadership of our Prime Minister, all segments of our society's quality of life should be improved. This is our priority responsibility. We need to be the servants of our elderly, and we need to get their prayers of gratitude, and we need to be conveying their heritage to the young generations in such a respectable manner. So I'm sure that you will lay the roadmap before us, and your work will shed light to our work. And I would like to greet each one of you with my respects and with my best greetings.
Thank you, Minister Sahin. I don't need earphones, and I don't need to understand your language to hear the passion and commitment that you have for older people. So thank you. And thank you to the other guests that I had the opportunity to welcome this morning. So please join with me in thanking those people. Thank you. It is now my pleasure to hand the floor to Dr. Jane Barrett, the Secretary-General of the International Federation on Ageing. Dr. Barrett.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I have the opportunity to make some remarks to you while the stage is being reformatted for the next session. So let me start by saying, born in 1901, the anthropologist Margaret Mead said, "Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has." The vision and inspiration of the inaugural International Istanbul Initiative on Ageing, was certainly borne by one man, and you've heard the name many times today, and that's Mr. Meti Bora. Yet, it was through this small group of interested, committed citizens in IFA and TURYAK in partnership that forged the pathway to the program that you are going to be involved with over the next 2 days. We come from different countries, we don't come from different continents, and yet we have the same common goal. And that is to have a deeper understanding of older people as the central, vibrant fabric of our communities and our societies. True to our partnership, the IFA and TURYAK have created a format and program of thoughtful, yet sometimes provocative speakers, sometimes in the area of ageing and gerontology, and yet sometimes not. So we'll hear today speakers whose expertise is in design, in technology, in economics, And it is because we have these speakers and we have a relationship through those lenses to the lives of older people that we will have a deeper and more comprehensive understanding of the lives of older people in many countries. Some of the questions that you may be asking yourself during the program are, how does the design of cities enable older people to live with choice and a quality of life? How can care be reframed in a society where older people are often referred to as a burden? Individuals and collectively, the cohort of older people, and I'm one of them, is regarded in many societies as a burden. And yet also in these societies we have such complex and rigid systems of health and social care that it's almost impossible to navigate one's way through. We must also understand whether evidence is the precursor to policy development, or whether policy development just goes recklessly forward without the evidence to ground us. There is a session that talks about defining the future, and after defining the future, perhaps we will need to ask the question about whether older people are even in the future in our dialogue. We come to this important part of the world, Turkey, to also look through the window of families, the value placed on older people across generations and within families, the values, the rituals, the liabilities, and the changing social contract. As has already been mentioned, delegates from 59 countries are here over 3 days. And it gives one great delight to meet some delegates from Iraq, Iran, Bulgaria, Romania, Poland, who have never ever been to a conference on the topic of older people, ageing, and intergenerational solidarity. So by being an active member of the Congress today and asking questions of these thoughtful, provocative experts on the stage, you become part of the global network of agents of change. Because it's only through us reframing what we understand to be the needs and wants of older people, the choices, that we actually give rise to protecting the rights of older people. It starts with you as citizens of the world. So now it gives me great pleasure as the moderator for the first panel entitled Intergenerational Solidarity to invite each of the speakers. There are 3 speakers today, and never in my lifetime will I ever be on the stage with such national leaders, with such vision and with such courage and determination in each of their countries. In order of speaking, could you please welcome Mr. Petru Lucinski, President of Moldova. Dr. Mohamed Yusuf El Migaref, President of Libya. Her Excellency, Dr. Mikabi, Minister of Niger, Population Promotion of Women and Child Protection. Please welcome Dr. Mikabi. And we will just pause for a moment. Let me place some context. We'll just wait for 60 seconds. And please let us join to thank the Minister, who now has to move off. Now let us draw our attention to the National Leaders Panel. The world faces a series of interconnected challenges, from global leadership imbalances, resource scarcity, natural and man-made disasters and climatic change, to rapidly ageing world. The unwavering social and economic pressures of a volatile number economic market, coupled with increasing dependency ratios, heightens awareness of the impact of population ageing. National leaders are instrumentally influencing and shaping how a nation will address population ageing. I'm very pleased and proud to be moderating this session, and I welcome Mr. Petru Lushinsky, President of Moldova, to make some remarks in regard to intergenerational solidarity. Thank you very much.
Спасибо.
Thank you very much.
Я, во-первых, хотел выразить
First of all, I would like to express
свое восхищение тем, что эта тема
with the fact that
обсуждается на таком высоком уровне.
at this high level.
И хотел поблагодарить семью Бора.
I would like to thank Bora family.
Это слышно? Вас нет? Его не слышно. Давайте, может быть, не, не слышно?
Can you hear me?
No?
Yes. Okay.
Окей. И особенно хотел поблагодарить семью Бора.
Especially, I would like to express my gratitude to Bora family.
И прежде всего сеньора Мети Бора.
And first of
И мы значение
Mr. Mete Bora especially.
И мы значение этой инициативы с каждым годом будем чувствовать больше.
And I'm sure all of us will feel the importance of this initiative every year even more profoundly.
Мы присутствуем и участвуем на многих конференциях глобального плана.
We participate in many conferences, in many global conferences and events.
Вопросы мира и войны.
Devoted to the issues of peace and war.
Вопросы многополюсового или однополюсового мира.
Which are discussing the questions, the issues related to many-polar, multipolar or single-polar world.
Вопросы конфликтов в мире.
And issues involving conflicts in the world.
Но мы забываем, что
However, we keep forgetting
главный двигатель прогресса и жизни является человек.
Driving force of this life, behind this life, is a human.
И вот на уровне самого человека
So at the human level,
и на уровне его общения, коммуникации
and
и
at the
так
level
далее
of his communication,
происходят очень коренные изменения.
there are many very important changes.
Планета очень быстро стареет.
The planet is aging and very fast.
Для того, чтобы на планете набрать 1 миллиард человек более 60 лет, миру потребовалось более 100 лет.
In order to collect 1 billion people aging over 60, the world needed... Простите, сколько лет?
100 лет, чтобы набрать 1 миллион людей больше
100 years.
А чтобы набрать 2 миллиард, уже требуется
However, to collect the
32 года.
billion, we need only 32 years.
Более того,
Moreover,
сейчас в мире каждая секунда
at the moment in the world, every
2
second,
человека отмечают юбилей 60-летия.
2 people celebrate their 60th birthday.
До 5 лет скоро, до 5 лет детей будут меньше, чем людей старше 60 лет.
Very soon we will have less children under the age of 5 than people over the age of 60.
И вот мы сегодня ставим на повестку дня проблему солидарности поколений.
Today we're talking about solidarity of generations.
Я боюсь,
I'm afraid
что если так будет продолжаться,
that if we keep going that way,
а государство всех стран мира имеет меньше возможностей, чтобы удовлетворять своими пособиями хорошую жизнь стариков.
And let's keep in mind that the state, all over the world, the state system have less and less opportunity to satisfy personal demands of aging people.
То есть давление вот этого социального составляющего на бюджет
It
становится
means
очень
the
высоким.
pressure of this social problem on the budget is becoming critical.
И тогда меньше остается для молодежи.
So we can see that the less is the share of the youth in the
Меньше
budget.
остается для решения других проблем,
The less is the
инфраструктурных и
share
так далее в
of
обществе.
other social problems.
И тогда будет расти напряжение, противоречие между
And
молодым
then we will
поколением и
have to
старшим
face
поколением.
tensions between young generation and old one.
Тогда в обществе будет создаваться, ну, будем говорить, некомфортабельная жизнь.
Then we will really have to face very uncomfortable social life in the future.
Мы не должны забывать, в истории были случаи, когда
We
стариков просто выбрасывали через
shouldn't
мост.
forget that historically it was very possible to get rid of old people just by, throwing them over the bridge.
Поэтому я поддерживаю то, что мы сегодня уже здесь
That is why I
говорили.
do support all the previous speakers.
Надо подумать о системе мер
We have to think of a system of measures
вовлечения людей старше, людей
to
пенсионного
involve
возраста,
aging people and retired people
вовлечь их в активную жизнь в обществе.
into active social life.
Вы посмотрите, у нас во многих странах мира есть Министерство молодежи.
Look around. In many countries, there are ministries for youth.
О Министерстве пожилых мы пока не говорим,
However, we haven't been discussing any ministry for aging people
потому что Министерство социального обеспечения это не
because the
одно и
Ministry
то
of
же.
Social Support and Protection
А вот создание, я бы подумал
Doesn't-
над созданием таких национальных центров
doesn't fulfill that purpose. I would think about creation of national centers
для людей пожилых,
to
Любого возраста.
support aging people.
которые бы разработали целый ряд рекомендаций
Those centers would be able to develop guidelines
и оказало бы вместе с государством содействие
and together
тому,
with the state system would support
чтобы пожилых людей вовлечь в
aging
жизнь
people in
общества,
order to involve them actively into the social life.
прежде всего в сфере экономики,
First of all, into the economic life,
в сфере обслуживания.
into providing services.
Ну, представьте себе, клиника медицинская,
Imagine a clinic
где
hospital.
работают только пожилые люди,
where only aging people are working,
и они обслуживают пожилых.
and they do provide services for aging people.
А сколько людей в области воспитания, которые могли бы
Think about work with
создавать
youth.
консультационные какие-то
They would be
центры,
able to provide
наблюдательные
consultancy.
советы, начиная с детского сада и кончая другими
Consultancy at all
учебными
levels of
заведениями.
education, starting from early education and to the professional education.
А сколько людей, мастеров своего дела, которые могли бы
And
производить.
imagine how many experts are getting retired.
Но для этого нужно другое законодательство,
However, for that, to establish that, we will need a different legislation,
другие условия труда, которые бы
Different working
были
conditions,
адекватны этому
which
возрасту.
would be adequate for aging people.
Одним словом,
That's to say,
я считаю так, что
in
старшее
short, I
поколение
believe that elderly people, old
должно
generation,
зарабатывать для себя.
has to earn their
И
money,
снизить
has to have
давление
a
на
chance
бюджет и
to earn their
снизить-
money,
снизить давление
lowering,
на бюджет,
therefore, the budget pressure.
который выделяется специально для хорошей жизни, как говорится.
The pressure on the budget, which is allocated to support good conditions of their life.
Наибольший опыт накопила Япония.
I think the best experience is gained by Japan
Я
in this
знаю, в
respect.
Европе много
In
примеров
Europe, they
интересных.
have done a lot about it.
Но везде разная культура, разные
However,
традиции.
cultures differ and traditions differ too.
Вот министр Турции говорила,
Minister of Turkey
это на Востоке развито, чтобы старики
mentioned
жили вместе с семьями.
that Eastern culture is based on the concept that elderly people live with their families, with their children.
Но в Европе мы знаем другое.
However,
Когда
in Europe,
18
as we
лет,
know, the situation
как
is
бы до
different.
свидания.
When the kid
Строит
reaches
свою жизнь.
18 years old, he just leaves the nest and starts building his own life.
Другая ситуация в Китае, который тоже, кстати,
In China, the
очень не
situation
стареет.
differs again, and China is getting old very
Я
soon.
только приехал с одной конференции, где
I have just
выступал
arrived from a
представитель Китая
conference
и
where I
говорил,
heard
что уже
the
13%
representative of
населения
China,
Китая уже
and
люди
he
пожилые.
mentioned that 13% of Chinese population are aging people.
Но там принцип конфуцианства, то есть уважение.
However, over there, Confucius principles are very important, and they do demonstrate respect for elderly.
То, что мы не имеем в Европе.
However, in Europe, we're lacking that culture.
Поэтому мне казалось бы, что
Therefore, I would think
надо продумать систему, когда
that it is necessary to
люди
think of
в
a system
возрасте могли бы производить что-то,
which would give an opportunity to elderly people to produce something in economy.
Возьмите сельское хозяйство.
Think of agriculture.
Люди там работают только на ногах.
Over there, people are experiencing physical labor.
Кто-то делает во дворе, так сказать.
They do something
Или какая-то
in the
птица,
field.
или выращивает какие-то там
They're taking care of
и так
animals,
далее. Вот
etc.
как бы в городах делать так,
How would we be
чтобы
able to
людей
establish
приобщить
such systems
к труду?
in cities so that elderly people would be involved in a labor cycle?
Вот это сочетание деятельности старшего поколения
The combination
и
of
молодого
active involvement of
приведет
elderly
к большей
and young
гармоничности в обществе,
generation will lead to
большего
harmony,
согласия,
will
большего
lead to
взаимопонимания.
consensus and mutual agreement and understanding in
Я еще раз
society.
хочу поблагодарить за организацию такого интересного
Once
разговора.
again, I would like to express my gratitude for organization of this wonderful and interesting event.
Если мы будем активны, мы можем выработать
If we manage
интересные
to be
предложения
active, we can develop
для
very interesting and
правительств
viable ideas for governments
разных стран мира.
of different countries.
Спасибо.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Luchinsky. It seems to me that Mr. Luchinsky started off by talking about climate and the relationship between the ageing of our planet and also the impact of the population ageing. You also mentioned that there is tension between the young and the older generations. And your closing statement was that we needed to move towards harmony across these generations. But in being able to understand what harmony is and looks like, we also need to appreciate the value of older people. And this value of older people does not necessarily come in a dollar sign. It comes in the richness of the social contribution that people of all ages, but particularly older people with wisdom and experience, can make to not only their family, but the broader community. And one final note that captured my interest was the importance of older people in natural and man-made disasters. And the power and the passion and compassion of older people to support the young and hold them up. And it's for us as citizens to join in harmony so that the value of each generation can be respected. So thank you. It's now my great pleasure to introduce Dr. Mohammed Yusuf El Migaref, President of Libya. Thank you.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Distinguished friends, good morning. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. I'm more than delighted, I'm thrilled to be amongst you attending this conference on aging, and would like to extend My congratulations to the sponsors and the organizers of this initiative, and particularly to Bora family, Mr. Metaf Bora, for inviting me to attend this conference. My contribution will be brief, maybe very brief. I'll confine it to 2 observations, comments, remarks. Number 1, I believe, as I think we all believe, we are created on this planet for a mission to be accomplished, for a role to be played, for a task to be achieved. This role, or this mission, or this task doesn't end simply by retirement or reaching an old age. It continues with us until we depart and leave this world. So it is the duty and the responsibility of the individual, every individual, regardless of gender, race, age, to do his utmost to accomplish this task. And it is until the last moment of his life, and it is the responsibility of the society to help and to assist and empower every individual to achieve this task. This is my first comment. My second comment, I put it in this way. Yes, humanity has progressed medically, scientifically, materially, particularly in the field of medicine. Humanity succeeds in prolonging and extending life expectancy. As a result of that, people live longer. But unfortunately, humanity regressed socially. And as a result of that, people who gained few years extra in their lives, they were not able to enjoy these extra lives. And maybe these years, extra years, became some sort of a punishment for them. When they find themselves living in aloofness, loneliness, and solitude. So humanity needs to correct this imbalance between the progress that is achieved in the scientific material world, walks of life, and in the social aspect. I remember a few years ago, I was in the States. I met 2 ladies, old ladies, and they were finding difficult to move. I think it was in a mall. And I remember one of these ladies was saying to other lady, I think I am becoming more of a burden than of a use. I ask myself, always ask myself, how many millions in this world repeat this word and live this sort of life where they ask themselves, I'm becoming a burden than, more of a burden than of a use. This is one of the challenges which faces humanity these days, which we have collectively to face and find right solutions, suitable solutions for. This gathering, this convention, in my eyes, is a manifestation of oneness of humanity and brotherhood of mankind. And I believe we are getting closer. Humanity is getting closer now, regardless of race, religion, language. And we are aware of the challenges that are facing us. I wish and I hope that this convention of yours will make a contribution towards manifesting this spirit and finding solutions to it. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Magariev. In so few words, you put before myself and the delegation some profound challenges. And the 2 points that you made was, in my eyes and in my, that the purpose of my being and my mission does not relate to the age that I am. And that regardless of who I am and what I do, I have a mission. And it is my responsibility to carry out that mission to the best of my ability. You also touched on the pragmatics of labour markets and economics. But it's also, you touched on our duty and our responsibilities. In the second point, it was even more challenging because you talked in such coherent and cogent terms about the frailty of humanness and the imbalance between the social values and the economic values, the advancements of medicine. And you asked us to consider how we might rebalance that equilibrium. And one of those final comments that many of us will take with us is the oneness of humanity and how this Congress can be part of that oneness of humanity. Thank you. Our final speaker this morning on this moderated panel is Her Excellency Dr. Mikabe, Minister of Niger, Minister of Population, Promotion of Women and Child Protection. Perhaps if we can just pause for just a second so that we can make sure that our translator is all organised.
Testing.
Okay. I welcome Dr. Mikabe. Thank you.
Merci. Excellences, Mesdames et Messieurs, chers participants, je voudrais tout d'abord exprimer tout le plaisir qui est le mien de prendre la parole à l'occasion de ce congrès sur l'initiative internationale sur le vieillissement.
Ladies and gentlemen, excellencies, I would like to express my heartfelt thanks on the occasion of this Istanbul initiative for aging and for the invitation extended to me.
Je voudrais tout d'abord transmettre aux organisateurs les chaleureuses salutations de son Excellence Dr Malika Issoufou, première dame du Niger, qui n'a pas pu faire le déplacement, qui est de tout cœur avec nous.
First, I would like to extend my very warm thanks and greetings from Her Excellency, the First Lady of Niger, Dr. Malika Issoufou Mamadou, for this conference.
Je voudrais aussi dire que mon pays, le Niger, que je représente ici, est très honoré par cette manque de confiance et de considération.
Niger is honored to have been invited to this conference and for the consideration and confidence given to my country.
Donc, je voudrais vraiment saluer les organisateurs de ce congrès et merci pour l'invitation qu'ils m'ont faite.
I'd like to once again thank the organizers for the invitation accorded to me.
Chers participants, le vieillissement de la population a longtemps été occulté dans la problématique des populations et développement. Et quand bien même il est abordé, il est perçu comme une source de problèmes, de dépenses et de charges de toutes sortes pour la population active.
Aging of the population has been for a long time nested in the broader issues of population and development. Yet when raised, aging is seen as a source of problems and burdens for the social and healthcare costs as well as responsibilities placed on the rest of society.
Et nous pensons qu'il s'agit là d'une perception et d'une vision injuste et il faudrait que les populations âgées pour notre société qu'on puisse considérer tout leur apport pour nos familles et pour le monde entier.
Yet this is a false perception and negates the potential that aging populations can have to contribute to our societies, families, and the world over.
Nous devons reconnaître que le vieillissement de la population est une réalité de nos dynamiques sociales et nous devrons le considérer comme un facteur positif.
We should recognize that aging is a reality and is a positive result of action and social action and development.
Nous devons en conséquence œuvrer pour faciliter l'avènement d'une société pour tous les âges. Une société où jeunes, vieux, hommes et femmes, riches et pauvres puissent jouir de vies longues, heureuses et saines qui leur offrent des possibilités de développement individuel et d'épanouissement.
We should work to facilitate achievement of a society for all ages, young and old, men and women, rich and poor, so that they live long, happy lives with quality and that offers possibilities for individual development and fulfillment.
Plus important que tout, il est temps de reconnaître que les importantes contributions que les personnes âgées apportent à nos familles, à nos communautés et aux sociétés. Toute leur vie, elles ont donné leur temps et leurs énergies pour aider les autres et elles continuent de le faire.
Most important of all, it is time to recognize the important contributions that aging persons bring to their families, communities, and society. Throughout their lives, they have given their time and energy to help others, and they continue to do so.
En retour, nous devons faire davantage pour la défense de leurs droits humains et libertés fondamentales, notamment leur droit de vivre dans la dignité et la sécurité, à l'abri du besoin et à l'abri de la crainte.
In return, we must protect their human rights and fundamental liberties, notably their right to live in dignity and security, and with freedom from want and freedom from fear.
Nous devons promouvoir une chaîne de solidarité entre les âges, entre les générations et faire en sorte que les valeurs et les connaissances que renferme chaque génération puissent être source d'inspiration, de transfert de savoir, de connaissances et des valeurs positives toutes utiles pour nos sociétés.
We should promote intergenerational solidarity and to reinforce the notion that the values and wisdom of each generation be a source of inspiration to transfer knowledge and positive beliefs and values that are useful for all of the people and society.
Nous devons de ce fait cesser de penser et de croire que les personnes âgées constituent un fardeau et des charges pour les autres. Nous devons orienter nos pensées, nos actions vers la recherche de stratégies qui nous permettront de faire en sorte que le vieillissement de la population puisse être intégré dans nos dynamiques de développement.
We need to stop thinking and believing that aging populations constitute a burden and burdens on others. We should reorient our thinking and actions to researching strategies that permit us to integrate aging populations in all of our development efforts.
Nous devons tous être engagés pour faire face aux problèmes que pose le vieillissement de la population, ainsi que pour resserrer le dialogue et les partenariats pour consolider les plans et actions destinés à améliorer la vie de toutes les générations.
We should all be engaged in forming serious challenges of this population, as well as to establish dialogue and partnership to consolidate plans and actions to improve the life of all generations.
Nous sommes bien conscients que dans nos sociétés, chaque génération est un facteur de développement.
We are all aware that each generation is a positive force for development.
Et pour mobiliser les forces et les énergies de chacune d'elles, nous avons créé, il y a 3 ans de cela, la Fondation Tatali Iyali, engagée dans des actions de développement et de soutien en faveur des couches de la société les plus vulnérables, dont les femmes et les enfants.
We are all aware that each generation is a positive force for development. To mobilize these forces and energy, 3 years ago, the Foundation Tatati Iyali was created to help the most vulnerable groups of the society, women, children, and the aging populations.
Ces actions et ces efforts seront poursuivis et intensifiés en collaboration avec les partenaires nationaux et internationaux.
These actions are being organized in collaboration with national and international partners.
C'est dans cet élan que je lance un vibrant appel à tous les décideurs, les bailleurs de fonds, aux organisations de la société civile, aux chercheurs, aux universitaires, pour que désormais, dans nos politiques et programmes, le vieillissement de la population puisse être inscrit comme un facteur de développement de nos sociétés et d'équilibre de nos familles. Je vous remercie de votre aimable attention.
I call upon all policymakers, donors, civil society organizations, researchers, universities to engage in policies, development of policies and programs so that aging, can be recognized as a factor for development and to lead to balanced family life and societies. I thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. McBee. And could I also make special note of Dr. Alex Ross, Director of WHO Kobe Centre, who stepped in so graciously to help us with translation, so thank you. The National Leaders Panel has set the scene for what is going to be, I'm sure, 2 days of thoughtful discussion, I hope some provocative questions from the audience. And so I would like us to join together in thanking the national leaders, President from Moldova, Mr. Lujinsky, Dr. Magariev, President of Libya, and Dr. Maccabee from Niger. Thank you very much. So while the national leaders are moving to their chairs, we're just going to do a switch of the Master of Ceremonies. Please don't leave, because we do have the Distinguished Senior Citizens Awards and, of course, the awards for the best paper and the best age-friendly city and community and the best vision for an age-friendly city and community. So please sit there, and we'll be just changing Master of Ceremonies. Thank you very much.
IFA ve TURYAK tarafından yapılan bu kongremiz.
Distinguished participants, in this part we're going to have the award ceremony. The first one will be presented by Turyak's traditional the Model Senior Citizen Award will be presented. The requirements are being about the age of 50, being successful in their career life, being a leader and a pioneer in the social domain, preserving your connection with life and enthusiasm for living, and being a role model for the society are the criteria based on which Turyak selects the best senior citizen. And this year, the awards will be presented by the board members of Turyak. May I invite the board members of Turyak, please?
Ödüllerimizin ilki,
the first one of the awards will be presented to the distinguished Professor Muazzez İlmiyeçi, that is very well known by all of us and in the international academia as well.
Muazzez Hanım'dan sonra hepsini sırayla verdik. İkinci ödülümüz,
our second award goes to, on behalf of Ibrahim Bodur, the pioneer industrialist. Mr. Kınay will take the award on behalf of Mr. Bodur. Because for many years he has been working on aging. Miss Gülgen Dural, she's been working on the topic for many ages. And another award goes to Kazım Ergun as the advocate of pensioners' rights. May I invite him to the podium as well? And Professor Talat Halman for his internationally recognized work. And on behalf of İdris Yaman Türk, may I invite Feyzullah Çalışkan. And Kamil Çetiner Orarer for the work he has carried out in terms of aging, and also Yüksel Erimtan, a pioneer in Turkish architectural design. And on behalf of Asım Kocabıyık, the deceased Asım Kocabıyık, on his behalf I would like to invite his son Ahmet Kocabıyık, and an important name of Turkish contractors, Şarık Tara. His award will be received by Mr. Özge, and The final award will be presented to Ms. Güllü Aktan for the enormous works she has achieved after the age of 65. And our last award goes to Mustafa Göçen for his sensitivity on the topic and the work he has carried out.
Şimdi yönetim kurulu üyelerimiz ödülleri tek.
And now our board members will present each one of those awards one by one.
Ben de verebilirim birine. Adına onu biliyorum. Suzan'ı getiriyor herhalde.
Tekniklerin devam edelim.
Ben şunu bir zaman tutuyorum.
Sonra aile resmi. Verin ben. Nazım Ergin Bey. Nazım Bey. Nazım Bey. Nazım Bey. Şunu verin. Götürme. Teşekkür ederim. Çok sağ olun. Sağ olun. İletişim. Buna çok selamlar.
Saygılarımı sunuyorum. Nurlar içinde yatsınlar. Saygıyla yad ediyoruz kendilerini rahmetle.
Evet, sayın kıdemli, örnek kıdemli vatandaşlarımıza
Yes. In your presence, I would like to thank all our distinguished senior citizens, and we would like to congratulate them very warmly.
Was
Evet, evet. Ödül almaya gelen tüm konuklarımıza tekrar
We would like to once again thank all those distinguished senior citizens who were just awarded, and İzmir Seferihisar Mayor Tunç Rıçar and Çimen Karasu, Anti-Aging Association Chair. We would like to thank both of them for their contribution. We have two more very important awards of the Congress, and the one goes to the best article determined by our international jury, and I would like to invite Frik Lable to receive the award, and Fügen Mavi to give the award to our award winner.
Frik Lable. Uluslararası jüri tarafından seçilen en
The best scientific article as determined by the international jury.
Well, colleagues, friends, this is a very, very big surprise for me. I'm very honored to have this prize, and it's not for me, but it's for everyone who is working on the quality of life of all the citizens, and let's keep up the good work. Thank you very much.
Uluslararası yaşlı dostu
In the field of International Award for Elderly Friendly Cities, we will have two awards. One award for the project which has already been undertaken, and one for the projects in the pipeline. And the international jury gave the award to Giron City, Volgograd, and İzmir City. So this is a joint project which was entitled to the award. And now I would like to invite Elizabeth Bayot on behalf of Dijon City, Ali Muzaffer Tunçağı on behalf of İzmir, and a representative from Volgograd City. And I would like to invite the World Health Organization DG Head of Aging Department, Jean Garrett.
The idea of an age-friendly city is only 6 or 7 years old, but there are already tens of millions of people who live in places which are becoming better places for older people to live. There's a lot of new ideas out there, and it is very hard to come up with fresh ideas that are innovative. And I think one of the hallmarks of this proposal is the innovation and the new ideas, and particularly bringing together cities from 3 different countries. And so it's a great pleasure to present this award to the project.
20.000 dolarlık ödülümüzü.
This is an award for its $20,000 recognizing the work of the project.
It's a real emotion for me and for this project, İzmir, Volgograd and Dijon. I am from Dijon. I represented the mayor of Dijon, and it's a real... C'est une grande émotion pour moi. Je vais le dire en français parce que c'est trop difficile en anglais. It's very difficult in English. Je le dis en français, c'est une grande émotion parce que c'est un projet qui est multiculturel, qui m'a permis de connaître Izmir, le représentant de la ville d'Izmir, qui est jumelé avec Volgograd, et nous sommes jumelés avec Volgograd. Et c'est cette collaboration entre 3 pays, 3 cultures, un projet innovant. Je crois que je vais m'arrêter là parce que c'est trop aujourd'hui. Merci. À vous.
Thank you. I thank in name of my Metropolitan Mayor Aziz Kocaoğlu for this very honorary award. He couldn't come here because he should participate to another meeting in Izmir to distribute free milk to children between age of up to age of 5. So he couldn't come, but he sent his best wishes. So I'm thanking in his name to receive this award, and thank you for attendance. Thank you.
Thank you.
Son ödülümüz uluslararası jüri.
And our last award granted by the international jury is the age-friendly award, and that's the New York City, Ruth Finkelstein from New York. Now I would like to invite her to the podium, and our chair, Mete Bora, will be granting the award, which is worth $20,000.
Congratulations, congratulations. Here is their check for $20,000 for the City of New York for the best implemented project.
Thank you so
I
much.
would have never dreamed that one day I'm going to present the City of New York $20,000, but it happened. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. I don't know if Miss Helen Hamlin is here on the Commission for Age-Friendly New York. Did you want to join me? And I don't know if Linda Freed is here, another commissioner, maybe out for a moment. I really am stunned. And with regard to the presenting the City of New York $20,000, I want you to know that we have a community seed fund that we use to provide funding to small organizations to start age-friendly initiatives, and this giant check is going to go right into that fund. So thank you so very much. Did you guys want to say a word? Anybody?
I would just like to thank all of you for being here and supporting the work that we're all doing in favor of aging, and elderly persons. And this award really will help us continue to do this. Thank you.
Thank you.
ödül törenimiz burada sonlandı.
This concludes our award ceremony. We would like to thank all our participants, and now we would like to invite you to the foyer before we proceed to the lunch. Thank you very much.